Hello and welcome to this broadcast from Bay Area Digital. I'm Chris Gray, President of Bay Area Digital, and we are the distributor for Baum Pronto, a German company, and handle their line of Pronto note takers. There are 3 Prontos altogether. The 18 Braille cell Pronto is what is here today and what I'm going to be demonstrating. There is a Pronto with a QWERTY keyboard and no Braille, and there is a 40 Braille cell Pronto as well. Let me just have this Pronto 18 say a few words to you now about its various specifications.
Hello, I am Pronto 18. Here are weight 1 pound.
Oops, that'll be the first edit.
Okay.
Blank line.
Should we go on?
Sure.
Hello, I am Pronto 18. Here are my specifications. Weight 1 pound. Width 6 inches. Depth 3.6 inches. Height 1.25 inches. Battery life 10 to 12 hours. I am the smallest, lightest Braille note taker available anywhere in the world. I will help you be amazingly productive wherever you are, whenever you need me.
Okay, you hear from that a great built-in speech capability. It's using the Eloquence high-end speech voice Tom, and you also heard some pretty good specifications. I don't think they can be beat anywhere in the market today. In this first introduction to Pronto, and I'm not sure that they'll all be videos, but it seemed important for this one to be a video. I want to review with you all the things that Pronto can do, and I want to introduce you to the various controls on the machine. Let's begin with the top surface of Pronto, and you'll notice that at each end of the Braille display where my fingers are, there are 3 buttons. These are referred to in Pronto manuals and when we talk about Pronto as the D keys. They're called D keys because they correspond to Braille dots. So on the left side you would have dot 1, dot 2, dot 3 going from top to bottom. On the right side you have dot 4, dot 5, dot 6. So these are the D keys. Giving these various sets of keys specific names is going to make it much easier for you to use and understand the unit down the road. Going a little bit back and toward the center of the unit, there are 8 keys, 4 on the left, 4 on the right. These are called the B keys, and they're Braille keys. So on the left you've got dots 1, 2, 3, and then dot 7, and on the right you have 4, 5, 6, and dot 8. For those not familiar with Braille, this corresponds to the 8-dot Braille cell. Used to be it would be just 1, 2, 3 on the left, 4, 5, 6 on the right, but 7 and 8 got added, and so 7 went on the left, at the far end of the left, 8 went to the far end on the right. Behind the Braille keys is the speaker, kind of the round circle, slightly raised above the surface of the unit. And now moving down from the Braille keys, we have the Braille display. And it's an 18-character display. Above each character is a button, and that's a router key. If you want the cursor to come to that particular letter, just press the button above it.
M.
I brought it to the letter M. Also, when you're in a menu and you want something to execute, you could hit any one of these router buttons on the Braille line and have that particular thing executed. Now we go to the center of the unit near the very front. and you'll notice there are two small bars. There's the left space bar and the right space bar. Each has its own function, and they will be described in other training sessions, other tutorials, and of course they're described in the manual in detail. The left space bar is referred to as B9, so Braille key 9, and the right one is referred to as B0, or Braille key 0. The right one is what you use to actually do the space. And finally, you'll notice that there are, at each end of the unit, right next to the two space bars, some slightly inset circular keys. They're numbered from left to right. The very left one is S1, and S2 is right next to it. Then we pass over the space bars, and we do we come to S3 and S4. When I'm done describing the unit, I'll give you an example of some fun things that these keys do to end off this particular tutorial. Now, turning Pronto up, let's talk about the front of the unit for a moment. In the center, you'll notice there is a round circle with a small sort of, I don't want to say spike, what do I want to call that? Just a small button available for you to use. This is a cursor cross, and it goes up, down, left, right, and you can press it and have it go in to perhaps begin playing a file, execute a command, something like that. With this cursor cross, you can go up and down menus, in and out of menus, and do the kind of things that you would expect any unit to do with a cursor cross. To the left of the cursor cross, this button right here on the far left, that is the record button. Pronto can record a quick memo. To do that, you might press the button in.
Storage card is missing.
I guess we won't be doing a recording right now, since there is no storage card in here. But you would press it in, do a recording, let it go. You also can go into a menu and turn recording on and leave it recording, and then not have to hold this button down to make a recording. So there you have the front edge of Pronto. Now let's examine the back edge. We'll go from left to right, and the first item on the left is where you plug in the power adapter. As you heard, Pronto has a 10 to 12 hour battery life, and that really is true. I can use Pronto for 2, even 3 days without having to recharge it. So that's a good feature. Next to the AC adapter plug-in is a serial port. The serial port can be used to connect Pronto to a computer if you want to go serially, and many people do because it's perhaps faster and straightforward. It's also used to plug in a visual display. With Pronto you can buy a visual display so that a sighted person can also use it, and very often in Europe this is used to communicate with people who are deaf and blind. And so it's a good feature, a very good training feature for teachers as well. The next item you come to is where the SD RAM card would go. And you can put an SD RAM card in Pronto up to 32 gigabytes in size. Pronto uses the SD card a lot like other Braille note takers use memory, so you have a significant amount of available memory, and of course you can carry as many of these cards as you want and use them for various functions. Next we have a kind of a raised semicircle, and that's where the Bluetooth capability of Pronto is placed. Pronto is Bluetooth. It can communicate with computers, it can communicate with cell phones via Bluetooth, and it's a very nice feature for the product. Next to the Bluetooth raised area is the master USB connector. In this connector you can put thumb drives and other master USB devices. Next to them are two audio connectors. There's a connector for a microphone, monaural or stereo, and a connector for headphones, mono or stereo, whatever you choose. And next to the audio connectors is the slave USB connector. So there you have the back of Pronto, and you can see from that it's got a lot of functionality. And I told you that I would show you a few keys, and I'm turning Pronto off. Okay, those two descending tones mean Pronto's off, but even when Pronto's off, there are many things it can do for you. And one great thing is you can always quickly and easily get to your battery life. So these S keys can do a lot of things like that. If I tap S3 twice, you'll hear the battery life. I have to press
Battery 59%.
Okay, very good. Battery 59%.
Friday, January 07, 2005.
You can get the date if you want. You can get the time.
3:16 p.m.
That's Pacific time, so now you know when we made this recording in the first place. And there are other things you can get as well. For example, Pronto has a built-in compass. I can tell you the direction that Pronto is facing right now.
Northeast.
Okay. If I move the unit,
East.
okay, so you see it has a built-in compass. And it does have a built-in altimeter and a built-in barometer as well that you can hear values for when you tap these keys various times. To get the time, I pressed S4 once. To get the date, I pressed it twice. And Pronto makes a lot of use of the S keys and a lot of other key combinations in its software. So in this we have had a look at Pronto. You know what its various keys and buttons and elements are, and I hope it's been useful to you. Next time we'll do probably just an audio broadcast, and I will demonstrate to you other features of Pronto. We might do the word processor, we'll look at the MP3 player one time, we'll look at Pronto interfacing with a cell phone, all the other features that you get with this unit, and believe me, there are many. So again, I'm Chris Gray, President of Bay Area Digital,